the gladiator mentality, and people look at us like, okay, really? Yeah, really.
All right, let's do this. Diamond Envy Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas. Diamond Envy, as always, brought to you by Cavens Group. Check them out, cavensgroup.com. A series sweep for OU softball. OU gets it done at Loves Field. 3-0 over the Houston Cougars, and there's some really good to talk about and some mystery that's still out there as I just got done listening to the Patty Gasso press conference and have some thoughts to share. First off, one, thank you for those of you who have subscribed to the YouTube channel. Jessica Bame, I saw that. Thank you very much. And thank you, as always, for listening to the traditional, just audio-only format of the Diamond Envy podcast. Both are very appreciated. So if you're watching on YouTube, smash the subscribe, like button. I feel like I'm supposed to say that. But yeah, appreciate you guys consuming the content on all platforms. So let's get to it, because I think the big story this week, I mean, not only today, but this week is Kierston Deal, right? And I had a YouTube stream on Wednesday morning, the day after Kierston Deal throws her first career no-hitter. And I had the thought that, okay, well, Patty Gasso takes note of that. Yes, it was against Tulsa. No, it wasn't against one of the better teams you're going to face this year, but she's kind of waiting on who's going to be that true number two that steps up. You know what you're going to get from Nicole May, and that's not a bad thing. I mean that in honestly a positive way, that you know what you're going to get from Nicole May after all these years. But was Kierston Deal or Peyton Monticelli or Carly Keeney, was someone really going to step up and say, okay, well, I can be that strong number two option, and then we'll kind of see what happens with Nicole May. Like, I don't know if I'm ready on this Sunday afternoon to proclaim, like, it's over. Kierston Deal is your number two pitcher. I don't know if I'm ready to go there just yet, because I think we need to see a lot more evidence moving forward. But Kierston Deal may be the single biggest storyline this week for OU softball. 2 starts, 2 shutout wins, 1 no-hitter, 0 earned runs. She gave up 2 hits the entire week. It was her best week as a Sooner, and I'm not sure that it's even that close. And she's just in her sophomore year. She's got a lot more softball to play, but how can you not love what Kierston Deal was able to do this week at a very important time? Because when I evaluate this team right now, I say, okay, if Kelly Maxwell is in the circle, I think they can beat any team in the country. And I think OU is the best team in the country when Kelly Maxwell's in the circle. My question with this squad is, what are they without Kelly Maxwell? Can they beat every team in college softball when she's not starting? Or are they the best team in the country when Kelly Maxwell's not in the circle? I don't know that answer right now. I'm kind of like the rest of you and even Patty, waiting on that real legit high-end number 2 starter to emerge. And again, this is no disrespect for Nicole May, because I do think Nicole May will be put in some big spots, and I do have confidence that she's going to deliver. But Kierston Deal has kind of been the truth this week. And Patty made the comment in the post-game press conference, like, she's leading, and like kind of follow her lead right now with what she's doing in the survey. Very, very impressive. No, it wasn't the two best opponents that OU is going to see this year. But you get that kind of production, then let's start talking about Kierston Deal maybe being the Saturday starter next week. Because I thought coming out of Tuesday, like, all right, she throws the no-hitter. I think she'll get a weekend start for the first time in, 3 weeks? Because Deal did not get a start against BYU. Kelly Maxwell did in Game 3. She didn't get a start against Texas. Kelly Maxwell got 2 starts as well. I thought that she was going to get an opportunity after that no-hitter against Tulsa. And my point was, you're going to get an opportunity, KD. What are you going to do with it? This can kind of go one or two ways. You can go out against Houston and, give up 6 hits, give up 3 runs in 4 innings, and we're kind of back to maybe where we were a few weeks ago. Or you can go out there, back up one great pitching performance with another, and then we're going to come out of this weekend saying, we got to get more innings for Kierston Deal and more opportunities. And I think that that's where we're at right now. Again, I'm not ready to sit here and proclaim that, hey, it is Maxwell and KD all the way to a national championship. That's your true 1-2. I still need to see it a little bit more consistently from Kierston Deal. But do I feel pretty good about where she's at today? Yeah, I do. Because, like I said, I think she just had her single best week in an OU uniform. And that means something. So, kind of like what I said on Wednesday, she got an opportunity this weekend to start. I think she'll get an opportunity next weekend to start, and probably the week after against Oklahoma State. If Kierston Deal continues to kind of put together consistent performances like she has this week, OU softball's going to be okay. I mean, they're going to be more than okay. We're going to go into the postseason saying OU's in a pretty good spot in the circle, because they are. Like, by the numbers, that's the case. I think by the eye test, that's the case right now. Like, the pitching is not lagging behind. The defense is not lagging behind. If there's anything lagging behind right now, it's the offense, which is still crazy to me. And not in Patty's tone in the post-game press conference today is like they're not complaining about the win. They're glad to have the win. Of course they're glad to have the win. But where was the energy today in the dugout? Where was the consistency offensively today? Wasn't there on the Sunday. And I think that's just kind of the biggest thing that she's looking for right now. And it does sound weird to say, really? There's an issue with energy in the dugout when you think of Riley Boone and Kinsey Hansen and Jada, like so much personality on this team. Like, why is that the case? Is this team, struggling a little bit confidence-wise offensively? Are they pressing a little bit too much? It's one or two of those things. Maybe it's both of those things, but the offense just doesn't seem like itself right now. It doesn't seem like it's the same personality. It's a little bit quieter than it has been. And maybe that's because of a lack of confidence, because they're just not performing the way that we're accustomed to seeing. Now, again, still got time to click offensively. And if this team's able to get hot, then watch out. But Patty even said herself, like, we can still win a lot of games. Winning games the way that we're doing it, it's just going to be a lot lower scoring. It's going to be a lot closer, like, you can win a game 2-1 right now with the way that they're performing in the circle. But they're not necessarily in position to play some of the best teams in college softball and feel like they can go score 12 runs on anyone. So just kind of where they're at right now. Defense good, pitching good, offense, we continue to wait. And it wasn't all bad this weekend at all. There were some really good offensive moments at the plate this weekend. What Alina Torres in game 1 on Friday launched a massive 3-run shot to get the scoring started. But it's got to be consistent here moving forward. Got to be consistent. I think that's kind of the main point. But it's a 3-game sweep, and you come out once again leading the pack in the Big 12 race. You're still number 1 right now in the Big 12 conference standings, and you're still in a good spot. Like, we're just more waiting on this team to really hit on all cylinders, as I think is the main point right here. And I don't think I really have to tell you guys that all that much. Like, we're just, when it happens, we'll see it. And I even thought the first 2 games this weekend were good. You had 2 run rule wins in the first 2 games of the series, but Sunday just felt like a little bit of a setback. You had that base running mistake in the top of the 7th inning. You heard Destiny Martinez on the radio call talking about the lack of energy. There's just still some confusing things, I guess, going on with this team. But you're going to look up next week, and they're going to be number 2 in probably every single poll and be leading one of the best conferences in the country. So I don't want to have this tone that everything's just so bad and this team can't find a way to win a championship. I think clearly this team can find a way to win a championship. It's just offensively, they got to get back to where they need to be. But look, Kelly Maxwell again, guys, she's fantastic. She is, and I know I just said it a minute ago, but I'll say it again. Like, I think they're the best team in the country when Kelly Maxwell's in the circle. Like, she's got true ace level stuff right now. The eye test shows it. The numbers show it. I looked on Saturday, and she had the second best ERA in the Big 12 of pitchers who've thrown 90 innings or more, and that's great. And I think that tells the story too, but it doesn't tell necessarily the story of what she's looked like over the past month. Like, she's been good all season long, but I really think that she's settled in and really started to play her best softball. Very, very impressed. Extremely impressed. Kelly Maxwell's one of the best pitchers in the Big 12 right now. She's one of the best pitchers in the country at this point. Now, maybe you don't put her at number 1, and maybe my opinion of her might differ from your opinion or some other people nationally, but Kelly Maxwell's on the circle, big game to win. I got full confidence. And I know that she has a loss this year, and one of those losses was to Texas. But how many runs did the offense score that day? It's kind of the point, Like, Kelly Maxwell, if nothing else, she's going to put you in a position to win a game. Like Kelly Maxwell is going to put you in a spot where even on the road in a hostile environment in a game to win the series, maybe she doesn't shut someone out and have 11 strikeouts and only give up one hit, but she may only give up 1 or 2 runs. Like she's going to do her part and put it, a nice situation where all your offense has to do is produce a little bit and you're going to be able to come out with a win. I love the way that she's performing right now. And here's the thing. Like, though Kelly Maxwell's looked really good the past month, like, is this the best of what we can expect? Maybe not, because as the year has gone on and gone on and gone on, she's gotten more and more comfortable. The starts look better and better. Like, we still got some games to go before we hit the end of the regular season. Like, who's to say that Kelly Maxwell can't continue to get even more comfortable and improve even more here as we move forward? And like I said, let's watch the storyline now, because it's a big one with this team. If Kierston Deal comes out next week and throws another gem, then all right, let's have the serious conversation about that being your 1-2 moving forward in the postseason. And there's so many reasons why I love covering this team, but one of the many is that Patty, you never have to guess how Patty Gasso currently feels about her team. Like coach speak, it's a real thing. We've talked about this before. But with Patty, like she lays it out there. Post-game press conference, if she's upset, you're going to know about it. If she feels like it's good enough or elite, you're going to know about it one way or the other. There's not a whole lot of in between there. She tells it like it is. So we've heard Patty a little bit more disappointed in post-game interviews more this year than I think we've had in a while. But she also throws some good out there, in the way that she's talking about Kierston Deal's performance right now makes me think that this isn't just a 1-week thing with KD. I don't think that it is. What Patty's seeing right now, the confidence and the leadership she's showing, it almost feels like Patty's seeing like she's about to really take off even more and start to have some really good innings. So I'm excited. I'm not only excited about the here and the now with KD and how big that would be for this team to have another top tier arm going into the postseason. Because look, guys, like I know that we've seen pitchers really kind of take over and really get the bulk of the innings in the postseason. But more than likely, even though Kelly Maxwell is performing at a high level, you're going to need a solid number 2. I mean, you just are. Like, Kelly Maxwell can't throw every single inning in the postseason. You're going to need big innings from KD. You're going to need big innings from Nicole May and a couple other pitchers as well. That's just going to be the case. And if KD can emerge as that number 2 option, you feel, a lot better about your chances to win a national championship. So I like that for the here and now, that point. But let's kind of take a peek ahead here. Like Kelly Maxwell, you're going to need to replace her next season. You're going to need someone to really step up in that number 1 role in the rotation. Maybe OU gets someone via the transfer portal like they did with Maxwell. Like, who knows what can happen? The point is, year 3 is a big one for KD. And if she goes into this postseason playing her best softball and she has some big performances and leads OU to some big wins, heck, maybe even helps OU win a national championship game, then you got confidence that maybe she can be your one moving forward as soon as next year. So just it feels like a very very important time of her OU career, and she can really set herself up nicely going into year 1 of the SEC. The competition is going to be a lot more difficult, and if you can get her out there in some big innings and she performs well, then yeah, you really start to feel good. But hey, Patty's not complaining about a sweep. She just knows it can be better. They're happy. They're happy about the 3-game sweep. It's a lot better than last weekend. A lot better than the weekend before. A lot better than winning 2 or 3 against BYU, and a lot better than losing the series against Texas. But they're not satisfied. There's still more out there from this team, and Patty's doing everything. She's saying everything. She will continue to do everything in her power to bring out the best in this team. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I have no doubt that Patty's going to push all the right buttons, say all the right things. It just feels like it's up to this team. This team, these seniors, these leaders, they got to make the decision. That there's not going to be a game where it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of energy in the dugout or at the plates. This team has to make the choice that whatever it is right now, lack of confidence, lack of energy, whatever it is, we're going to figure it out. Patty's going to say and do all the right things. I don't question that whatsoever. She's the GOAT for a reason. It's on these players. It's on these players who have played a lot of softball to bring the best out. She did say Jada Coleman, when Jada didn't start on Saturday for the first time in a long, long time, Jada Coleman. Not worried about her. Again, I think Patty shoots it pretty straight there, just looking for a day off of rest, and hopefully that works out well for Jada. But it doesn't sound like there's anything to that or, anything to look into that, too much. But that's just Jada, Kinsey, Burrito, Riley Boone, TRA. This team wins the national championship. Those are the core players that they're going to get this right. And the young players need to step up and be a little bit more consistent as well on offense, just like the rest of the team. Can't have just kind of weird base running mistakes like you did in the well, I guess that would be the bottom of the 6th inning. I think I said the top of the 7th earlier. I meant the bottom of the 6th inning. So still interesting with this. I still feel good about this team, and I'm sure you still feel really good about this team as well. It's just I think that they are capable of playing better softball than what we're seeing right now. I think Patty thinks that. I think we all think that right now. And I just want to see the best of what this team can offer. Like, I think we all want that because if this team finds a way to play its best softball, I think it will find a way to win another national championship. I've been consistent with that, and I will continue to stay consistent with that. I still think they're the best team, most talented team, best coach team, best fans, kind of best everything. It's just the offense has got to be a little bit more consistent. You guys get the point by now. Okay, as always, appreciate all the interaction, as always, sharing the podcast. It's very much appreciated. Live on YouTube right now, actually recording on YouTube, and I'm going to upload it to the YouTube page. So we'll talk to you early next week. Patty was, I will say this, though. Patty was encouraged on Saturday, like, hey, this team kind of feels like they're heading back in the right direction, and Sunday was a little bit of a setback because of the energy, but 3 wins. 3 wins, and this team is still in very good shape to host a regional, host a super regional, and probably even be the number 1 overall seed as well. Going to be fun here. This is kind of the fun part of the year. We're getting towards the end of the season, stretch run of the regular season. This is when the games really get important, and this is a time in the past where OU's really stepped up and played its best softball. So let's hope that continues to happen. As always, appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you this next week right here on the Diamond Envy podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas.